Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today for the webinar titled What to Expect at the 2018 SME Annual Conference and Expo and 91st Annual Meeting of the SME Minnesota Section. Ann Williamson is our presenter today. She's also the 2018 Program Chairman. My name is Tara Davis. I'm with SME as their Programs Manager, and I will be serving as your host for today's session along with Jackie Dorr. Ms. Williamson is Vice President of Environment and Sustainability for Twin Metals, Minnesota. She is a 34-year member of SME. Attendees may ask our speaker questions by using the chat panel. Later on in the webinar, the host will read the questions out loud to Ann during the Q&A session. I am now pleased to turn the session over to our speaker, Ann. Ann, would you please share your screen with us?
Yes, indeed. I am waiting for, there we go. All right. Welcome everybody. I'm hoping you can see my screen here at the beginning of the presentation. As Tara mentioned, my name is Ann Williamson. I'm with Twin Metals, Minnesota. I'm here in St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm enjoying some lovely winter weather. It's getting above freezing today, so that's exciting. And I'm looking forward to giving you a little sneak peek about the annual meeting coming up. So with that, let's get started. All right, so just a quick touching on the agenda, go over a little bit of general information about the conference, highlight some of the technical sessions that seem particularly exciting that are coming up, some can't miss special events, and I'd like to end with recognizing the sponsors of the annual meeting, which are critical to us being able to hold this meeting and having it successful every year. I will let you know that this is titled a sneak peek. This is not a thorough overview. I encourage you all to go to the SME website, which is SME-NET.org, where you can get the full agenda of all the events and all the technical sessions. So a little bit of general information about the conference venue this year. Minnesota, which is my home, born and raised here. Minnesota has a rich mining history and strong local section of SME. And every year that local section hosts a big meeting in Duluth. And this year, the local section is partnering with SME to bring that session and the annual meeting together for a dynamic conference here in Minnesota. Feature a wide range of technical sessions, and it will be the 2018 SME Annual Conference and Expo and 91st Annual Meeting of the SME Minnesota Section. And there will be some one-of-a-kind local events, which I'd like to tell you about here. First of all, let's talk a little bit about the annual meeting. This is the premier event for SME as a society. It's a chance for all of the members who can make it to meet each other, interact, and share real time some of the important technical information that helps benefit us as individual professionals and benefit the industry as a whole. In terms of attendance, generally when the meetings are held in cities other than Denver, Salt Lake City, or Phoenix, the attendance is a little bit down. You can see a little bit lower numbers on the year we were in Seattle. There have been lower numbers on other years in the past where it's been in some other cities. However, this year in Minneapolis, attendance is looking pretty darn good, to put it like a Minnesotan would. And we're expecting nearly 6,000 attendees at this conference. So it should be an exciting time. Likewise, number of exhibitors is going to be probably right up there with what we've had in Denver last year in 2017. So there'll be a wide variety in the exhibit hall for you to look at. It's 260,000 square feet. 552 exhibiting companies and 723 booth spaces. And one exciting thing is there's 133 new exhibiting companies. So for those of you like me who go to the annual conference year after year, there's a whole lot of new information that you can gather in the exhibit hall. And we encourage you to check that out and see what vendors are out there supplying the industry. There will also be 2 specialty pavilions in the exhibit hall, the International Pavilion and the Minnesota Pavilion. So be sure to bring your walking shoes. You're going to need them. The exhibit hall is a great place to meet up with your contacts, to see new things, and just to chat and meet new people, learn new information. And there's an app for that. Highly encourage you to download the official 2018 conference app. If you use a smartphone or a tablet or both, you can download the app. It'll be your personal guide to the annual conference. You can see the event calendar, technical program sessions and locations, the exhibitor list and exhibitor floor plan, and more. So to get the app, you can scan the QR code shown here, or search the Apple Store or Google Play for SME Events app. Now let's talk Minnesota some more. So a little bit of background about Minnesota. Typically, folks think of Minnesota as having the Scandinavian reputation. Lots of lutefisk and lefse here. However, our heritage is predominantly German, although there is a strong significant contingent. There are a lot of other immigrants that came in northern Minnesota to help with both with farming, timber, ranching, and of course the mining industry, which is a big part of our heritage, and I'll get into a little bit more here. Interestingly enough, we have the largest concentration of Somali and Hmong residents in the United States. In Minnesota, we truly embrace our identity as Star of the North, or L'Étoile du Nord. And Alaska notwithstanding, we have the northernmost border. So northernmost border in the lower 48, and that's thanks to that northern notch of Minnesota that juts up into Canada. And the conference will be at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Minneapolis is the largest city in Minnesota. It was named by a gentleman named Charles Hogue, who was its first schoolmaster. He proposed combining Mni, a rough translation from the Dakota word for water, and polis, which is the Greek word for city. So, we're just lucky he didn't decide to call it Hogeburg. So Minneapolis has a much better ring to it. Up until the early part of the last century, Minneapolis was known as the flower capital of the world, or more informally, the Mill City. And when you get here, you will still see a lot of things called Mill City. It's a little colloquial term that we use quite frequently and definitely embrace. Now, more things in Minnesota. Some things to see while you're here if you have some extra time, along with spending great time at the convention. There's quite a few art locations here. I have heard we have more theaters per capita than any city in the U.S. outside of New York. I don't know if anybody's going to have time to go to the theater, but there are a lot of interesting things to see. A couple I'll point out of this list is Minneapolis Institute of Art, Walker Art Center, both well-known, very fantastic venues to see art. The Mill City Museum, which is a museum about the history of Minneapolis. The American Swedish Institute, if you're interested in checking out the Scandinavian background of the state and maybe your forebears, depending on what your heritage is. Lego folks, there's a Lego Imagination Center at the Mall of America. And also, I will mention, for those of you who may have time to do some shopping, if you need clothes for your kids or a new business suit or something, there is no sales tax on clothing in Minnesota. So great time to do some shopping if you have the opportunity to stop by Mall of America. Now, SME membership, just a quick plug here. And hopefully if you folks are registered for the conference and you're interested enough to be on this session, hopefully you're members, and we do encourage you, if you're not, to become a member and to encourage others to become members. It could be one of the most important decisions that you or others can make to enhance your career and add to your profession. It allows membership allows us to stay informed with multiple publications and conferences and free access to onemind.org. You can take advantage of multiple networking opportunities through the SME community, networking events, and much more. Also, with your SME membership, you receive a subscription to Mining Engineering Magazine and access to the SME membership directory. When you're at the conference, you can stop by the SME booth to get enrolled. So I highly encourage you to do that if you're not a member, or to send your friends and colleagues who aren't members over to the booth to get enrolled. I know in my career, SME membership is probably, if I had to pick one single thing that I've done in my career that has been the most beneficial to me technically, or for both technical and professional networking, to give me those contacts that I use in my business life on a regular basis, it's absolutely membership in SME, and particularly the membership combined with regular attendance at the annual conferences. For those of you who are on this and are new members, remember to attend the new member orientation and reception, which is Monday evening at the Convention Center. You can meet new friends, learn more about the benefits that SME provides its new members. So this is open to folks who have joined in 2017 or 2018. Please stop by and learn some more about the society. For students, there are also a number of activities. There's a very active and engaged student membership contingency within SME, and there's a full slate of valuable opportunities. These are just a few. More of them can be found on the website and through the app. There's a student design competition. The final presentations will be held. There's student member engagement breakfast, student forum and reception, and the Graduate Student Research Poster Contest. The annual conference generally has more than 1,000 students registered. If you are a student listening on this conference call, I certainly encourage you to walk the conference hall or the exhibit hall, stop by booths, chat with people. You know, when you're in the technical sessions, talk to the people next to you, introduce yourself. You know, go to some of the events, and it's a fantastic way to network with folks in all aspects of the mining industry. SME has a program called Young Leaders, and I will admit that I am an alumni of the inaugural class of Young Leaders, which was back in the late 1990s, back when I was young. And I can tell you, it's a fantastic program. If you or any of your colleagues or friends might be eligible for this, I highly encourage you to pursue it, pursue membership next year. Young Leaders this year, for example, they have a full agenda. It's for folks who are 35 or under, and quite a few events going on for people who are member of the Young Leaders group. The program was created with the charter to provide young SME members with the opportunity for professional and career development. The program gives the younger membership of SME the chance to build your career, network, and grow your potential. So along with SME students, these folks are really the future of our industry. So let's start talking about the convention, some of the specific broader reaching events at the convention. One of the first things that's happening is the keynote session, which will be Monday morning. This keynote session is the event that sets the tone for the week and kicks off the week of events. So definitely something to put on your schedule. Most of the rest of the conference is very specific on different topics, different divisions or functions of SME. This is the chance for you to hear some folks who are movers and shakers, both in mining and in industry in general, to talk more philosophically about what they think is happening and how our future looks. So the purpose of the session is to highlight the importance of industrial innovation, including in the mining sector. What does innovation mean locally, nationally, and internationally for the promotion of sustainable production of minerals, both in the U.S. and globally? The emphasis will be placed on innovation with respect to both technology and social responsibility in developed and developing regions of the world. A select slate of leaders in industry and academia with knowledge of key issues facing us will address these issues. So topics are going to include things like global innovation and the need for dialogue with all stakeholders, including local and regional communities. Talk about how mining has changed over the centuries. We are not the same industry that we were 100 years ago. In fact, we're not even the same industry that we were 10 or 20 years ago. We're constantly evolving and getting better. We'll talk about joint U.S. government and industry funding of research and development in sustainable mining. Could kind of compare that to what's going on in other countries and how we can make sure the U.S. remains in the forefront of innovation. We'll also talk about the decline of U.S. university mining engineering programs and the impact on innovation in mineral extraction technology. The keynote session will begin with a special presentation by Congressman Rick Nolan, who's U.S. Congressman for the 8th District of Minnesota. And Mr. Nolan, Congressman Nolan, is a fantastic speaker. He is well-versed in mining. He is a strong proponent of mining. And his district is where the iron mining, the current taconite mining in Minnesota is occurring, and as well as the district where some of the new projects are being developed in copper, nickel, and platinum group metals. The moderator will be Frank Vassalero, who's an anchor person for WCCO, one of the major radio and television stations in Minnesota. And we'll have a great array of speakers on the panel. Renee Aguiar with Antofagasta Minerals will be up from Santiago, Chile, joining us. Bob Anderson, who is Vice President for Research and Development from 3M. 3M is based here in the Twin Cities. Christoph Beck, who's the Executive Vice President for Nalco Water. And Ralph Weiberg, the Executive Director for the Natural Resources Research Institute, which is a organization within the University of Minnesota based in Duluth. All right, so the keynote session should be a great kickoff. Very much encourage folks to attend that. Now, occurring with the conference will be the 6th North American Iron Ore Symposium. And so we'll have sessions that include agglomeration and pelletizing, alternative iron products, beneficiation, materials and tailing management, mining and new projects. After some unprecedented growth in the taconite industry between 2003 and 2008, with record iron ore prices, there was the industry started in a downturn between 2010 and 2013, and we kind of remained in that downturn until around things really started picking up about mid-2017. But the industry does continue to face some major challenges. Lots of questions out there. Will the 3 major iron ore players, BHP Billiton, Rio Tinto, and Vale, continue to dominate the industry? What North American producer survived the storm, and what did they do to stay competitive? What new iron mines have opened or are in the engineering construction stage? What new technologies are being applied? The 6th North American Iron Ore Symposium will focus on answering these and other interesting questions. Technical program. there's always just a great selection of technical talks to attend. Usually the most difficult thing is making your decision as to which talks to attend. There's always a great selection out there. I do encourage folks to use this opportunity to branch out of your division. It's a great opportunity to learn new things. If you're a coal person, you know, maybe sit in a couple things that might be interesting in mining exploration. I know I'm a member of the environmental division, and I do regularly try to drop into some things, talks in other areas and other divisions that might touch on the things that I do in the environmental aspects. So wide variety here. Every division within SME has a technical program. I encourage you to go through their program details online or through the app. Now here's a few particularly interesting things, kind of unique this year to watch for. These are various technical programs that will be ongoing. You can find them in the schedule. Accessing capital in the mining world today. Things seem to be turning around in mining is what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing from a lot of other folks there. Capital's loosening up, so this is a very timely topic. Rare earth elements, always an interesting topic. And benefits of stakeholder dialogue, creating shared value in the mining sector, something that's becoming more and more prevalent over the years. What really works in safety management in the mining industry. Adaptive reuse of pits and quarries. Tailings impoundments, management practices and impacts. Definitely a technical area that is always high profile, both within the industry and within society. So we like to keep tabs on what's going on there. Women in mining will have a program. Automation in mining. Those of you who listen to a lot of the rhetoric from political candidates in the last election, there was a lot of talk about how automation is going to be cutting back jobs. I know that's something that I hear a lot, and so this is a great session to attend to kind of find out what's going on with automation in the industry. Innovations in underground mining and pyrometallurgy, direct reduced iron. I will also put in a plug for one that didn't make the list on here, but Monday afternoon, politics of mining looks to be a particularly interesting topic, and there's a number of folks from Minnesota speaking there. There's a very politically charged atmosphere in the state with respect to mining, so there should be some good discussion going on at politics of mining on Monday afternoon. Some statistics about what to expect in 2018. 106 sessions. There'll be 103 preprint manuscripts and a total of 594 presentations. And these presenters are coming from 33 different countries. So SME truly is an international organization, and this conference truly is an opportunity to interact with mining folks in various areas and from all over the world. Just a quick look at some of the program statistics in the different areas. SME members developed the sessions featured at the annual conference. In this table shows that each SME division and the amount of programming they'll be offering this year. Mining's a comprehensive business, so multiple areas are appropriate for most of us. Review the sessions available before the meeting begins so you can get the most out of your time. If you're like me, like I mentioned before, you'll want to attend more than you have time for. I usually highlight things, put them on my Outlook calendar, or use the app to tag what I want to go to so I can make sure to hit all the sessions in which I'm interested. There's plenty to choose from. Now, there's a lot of other special events going on at the conference. One of them is the movemining program, which has been going on for several years now. This will be a live event on Monday afternoon. late Monday afternoon. And you can watch as 5 teams present concepts before a panel of judges to see who can change the public's perception of mining and win $5,000. I've gone to I think I've been to one of these in the past. It is really interesting, and I think you'll be impressed with some of the creativity that's out there about how to communicate the importance of mining to the public. And I also encourage you to get involved in your division. You may be out there thinking, great, all this stuff is being presented to me, but I want to be part of it next year. Well, there's a few ways to do that. First of all, each division has a business meeting. They're all on different days and times. I encourage you to go to the schedule and take a look at when your division has its business meeting. That's the time when the executive leadership in each division presents and talks about the division activities over the past year, the plans for the next year. A number of the divisions, not all of them, but a number of them have luncheons. I encourage you to attend those if you're interested in them. They usually have interesting speakers, and it's a great chance to meet some folks who are doing the same type of work that you are. Now, to become involved in being part of the presentations in future years, a great way to find out about that is to show up at the program committee meetings, which are held on February 28th. 7:30 a.m. begins the 2019 program committee meeting, and that's followed immediately by the 2020 program committee meeting. The program being the technical sessions, the talks, the topics, seminars, short courses, things like that. It's all stuff that folks will be talking about. When you walk in there, there'll be tables labeled for each division. Just take a seat at whichever table you're interested in, and that's the place that you'll be able to talk to folks about what's going on and find ways to get involved. Also, I'd like to point out that unless noted, all committee meetings held during the conference are open to all members. There's only a very, very few that are labeled closed. So if you see something that says the M&E Division Executive Committee meeting, and you want to go to that, you want to know what the heck are they doing? Well, it's open to you to show up. And I've been on and continue to serve on a number of committees on SME, and it's great to have people showing up just to find out what's going on, ask questions, give input. That's what this society is all about. It's a society of members for our members. And so the more folks participating, the better we are and the better we can serve the entire group. Now, the SME Foundation has its annual gala dinner on Sunday night. That will start with the reception and silent auction. There'll be a dinner, and afterwards a speakeasy and dancing. So look forward to seeing a lot of folks there. Women of SME, WAAIME, and Women in Mining are joining to host a breakfast called Women in Mentoring. And that one is, I believe, Tuesday morning. So that's always a great breakfast. And for those guys who are on the phone, it's not just women who attend, despite what it looks like with the photo that's posted there. I think I see one gentleman. A lot of gentlemen attend as well because the topics are interesting. The speakers are always fantastic. So there'll be a lot of topics addressed about focusing on women in the industry and the importance of mentoring, how to implement mentoring, how to become a mentor, things to look for in selecting a mentor. Oh dear, I seem to be out of order here. My apologies. All right, because we don't want to forget this. The SME Minnesota section is hosting a Learn to Curl FUNSPIEL. And hey, perfect timing if you've been watching the Olympics and our curling team. You thought, hey, I want to get out there on the ice and learn how to do that myself. Here's your opportunity. It's been described as chess on ice. So be sure to check this out if you have any interest in that. It should be an absolutely a blast of a time. Yeah. If you're looking for something that's a little less slippery, that you can grip your feet onto a little more, it's time to get ready, set, and go with this year's 3rd annual 5K Fun Run. Cool thing this year, it's going to be held on the concourse of the U.S. Bank Stadium, home of the Minnesota Vikings, and the stadium that you saw if you watched the 2018 Super Bowl. So you won't have to worry about our weather. We'll be inside in this unique venue, and the run will support the Health and Safety Division. Buses will depart the main entrance of the convention center beginning at 5 p.m. and will continually run until 6 p.m. So please note that only registered 5K participants will be granted access to the stadium and on the bus. So if you want to see the stadium, you got to sign up for the run. At the 2018 SME Awards Dinner, which is held on Wednesday night, you can join 2017 SME President John Mansanti. It's always a great way to conclude the conference. Some of the industry's very best are recognized for outstanding achievement, so be sure to attend and celebrate with us. And in conclusion, before we get to addressing questions, I'd just like to review some of the sponsors for this event, and can't overemphasize how important it is, the sponsorships to us, and being able to hold an event that provides the services and information and conveniences that are important to the SME members. So thank you to our overall conference event sponsor, Epiroc, which is part of the Atlas Costco Group. Gold sponsors, Barrick Gold, Caterpillar Inc. Global Mining, Newmont Mining Corporation. Silver sponsors, Alert Meter by Predictive Safety, Black & Veatch, Bosch, FLS Smith, Geotemps GeoPros, Hecla Mining Company, Hexagon Mining, the Iron Mining Association of Minnesota, Genmar, Komatsu, Metso Minerals, Molycop, MWH, which is now part of Stantec, Tyson Krupp, Weir Minerals, American Engineering Testing, Inc., Arcadis, Barr, Civil and Environmental Consultants, Consol Energy, Foth Infrastructure and Engineering, Itasca Consulting Group, M3, Murray Energy, Siemens, Twin Metals Minnesota, and Vulcan Minerals. Supporting sponsors include CAID Industries, Cal Portland Company, Hitachi Mining Division, Hunt Electric, Jobs for Minnesotans, Luckstone Corporation, and Magato. Additional supporters, Martin Marietta, New Enterprise Stone and Lime, NSSGA, Polymet Mining, Praxair Inc., Savki Environmental Technologies, SVL Analytical. And because it's never too early to start thinking ahead, mark your calendars now for the 2019 SME Annual Conference and Expo, which will be held in Colorado, Denver, Colorado, next year, February 27th through, or 24th through 27th. So, with that, I'll reiterate, please submit your questions to the SME host using the chat panel on the right-hand side of your screen. The SME host will read any questions aloud, and either myself or the SME host will be happy to answer the questions.
Thank you, Anne. That was absolutely fascinating. We are looking so forward to coming up to Minnesota. Again, we invite the audience to use the chat panel to ask questions. The session is being recorded and will be available on the SME YouTube channel website shortly, within a day or so. It doesn't appear that we have any questions. Anne and Tara, might you have a few final words for our audience?
Well, I'd like to thank Anne for taking the time today and certainly all year, and our fabulous volunteers in Minnesota and around the world, actually, who also help make the annual meeting possible. And I'm with you, Jackie. I am looking forward to, I have not really been to Minnesota, so I am looking forward to getting up there into that beautiful country.
Well, Tara, Jackie, and everyone else on the conference call, I can tell you those of us in Minnesota are certainly excited to have the meeting here, and we look forward to hosting you. Yeah, sure, you betcha.
We'll see you all there.
Thank you, everyone. Wait a minute, I have one question from Patrick. He says, I've registered for the curling FUNSPIEL. How could I miss it? Do you have any additional information about the timing and the transportation?
Patrick, this is Tara. You will be sent an email here in the next couple of days, I believe, and it will have all of the details. And this is true for if you're signed up for a field trip, if you're signed up for the 5K, and if you're signed up for the curling, any of those events that are off property, you'll receive a special email with all the details of that, where to meet, when the buses depart, all that type of thing. I will remind people, this is a good point to bring up, often our emails end up in junk or clutter filters, so make sure you're checking for any notices from SME. Again, coming from the registration system, a little bit different than some of the other emails we send, so make sure you're checking your junk and clutter filters for any of those communication pieces from us regarding registration.
Thank you, Tara. That appears to be the only question. And we look forward to seeing all of you in Minnesota. This ends today's session. Bye-bye.